It's your one and your only Green Wingman. Sorry for my voice right now. I actually went to that game yesterday, so I lost my voice when we finally were able to cement the victory against the New York Giants, which I think was 37-24 and for the Eagles to secure that bye. So I'm just going to kind of keep it short because my voice, I just don't have it. You can just hear it right now. It basically kind of got frost stuck in my throat. So, all right, so let's get through it. So apparently the offense isn't going to be the issue at the moment. However, this is a day by day league, so things can end up changing. For what could be one problem, the next is going to be another problem, another game. So um, yeah, Nick Foles played a very good game, 4 touchdowns, but was able to help put 37 points on the board. Looked very good, looked really comfortable in the pocket, was basically kind of hitting all the same receivers. Kind of figured that we were going to change too much of the offense because let's be again, Doug Peterson was one of the scouts, actually kind of, I guess scouts, or one of the QB coaches back in the day when working with Andy Reid in Philadelphia for bringing Nick Foles in. And once again, was also resought back by Andy Reid to come back to Kansas City to help run a little bit of the offense when Alex Smith was down. So, Nick Foles has been prepared in case something happened down to Carson Wentz, and it totally definitely showed. The offense really didn't truly miss a beat. Now, I mean, yes, I think we all lying to ourselves that some things need to be changed. The running game needs to get a little bit more better. I know everybody's clamoring for Ajayi, and I really hope that really turns out to be the case. But I think at the end of the day, I just think you don't bite the hand that feeds you, and you continue to do what kind of got you here in the first place. And I kind of I'm not a big fan of the running by committee, but you also have to understand there is an idea of having three hungry running backs that get very limited touches to go out there and play their hardest because understanding the fact that they might not get a lot of touches through a game. All these three running backs want to make their touches count. So there is a philosophy, there is an idea of having that going on. That being said, hopefully, when play time does come to shoulder, hopefully Ajayi kind of becomes a little bit more of the future back, and then LeGarrette Blunt and Clement can still be able to contribute in a big way. But that's that. I'm done with talking about the running game. But again, the offense did look very good. Nelson Aguilar looked very good. Trey Burton's really playing well. Zach Ertz is very playing well. Ashon Jeffrey made a fantastic catch, keeping his feet in bounds. So yeah, the offense looked very very good under Nick Foles, man. And I'm actually I think we'll be fine with Nick Foles. Now let's go to the defense. Yeah, the defense played like crap. We're not going to sugarcoat that. Ronald Darby, how in the heck are you getting beat by a double, no, maybe even triple move by a JV wide receiver? How you allowing that to happen? You're a far more better player than that. You're getting beat by double moves, and on top of that, this defense hasn't really showed up. The front, once again, the front seven has failed to get to a statue that is Eli Manning because Eli Manning's been able to get that ball out of his hands very quickly. I think he's has the fastest release out of all the quarterbacks in the NFL. In the NFL, I think he only sits there for 2 seconds, 1.5, to get that ball out. So I understand that we struggled to do that when we played them back in week 3, though. But that's really, really concerning that you have failed to get to a guy who has been stationary. You've only been able to get to him a couple of times, and I think that's really, really a big issue. I think Jalen Mills, unfortunately, yes, he also got beat too, but I think it's more about just a bit of failure in coverage and not be able to sit down and play coverage, which I think that's a big issue. But yeah, but Ronald Darby, I mean, granted, he did sit down to make up that key interception that got our team back, being down from 7 to 20, late early in the second quarter of that match in that game. But yeah, it's been a very concerning that I don't know why Jim Schwartz is playing a very soft, playing very prevent, and allowing a lot of these JV players to run all over you and gash you for about 400 yards and making Eli Manning look like a stud in there. I mean, I think that's horrendous. That's completely horrible. Um, I mean, the Giants only have really two offensive weapons, and that's Mike Evans, and then and then Shepard, Leon Shepard. I mean, how do you screw up both of those? That's very concerning. But now, granted, a little bit, not really an excuse. I get it. This team has been on the road. Um, for 3 days, and it could be tiresome, but the, this is December. This is not the time where you got to sit down and play. You need to be playing your best football moving into the playoffs. And if you're giving out this kind of horrible, horrific effort, it's going to show in the playoffs where your strengths are magnetizes and also your weaknesses. I mean, that's it. You're going to go in there are who you are, and I think this team is still one of the more consistent teams in the NFL in terms of having dynamic players on the offensive side, having very good pro players on the defensive side, and special teams really showing up. I think this is the first ever time where a team we blocked we stopped a 2 point conversion, we blocked a punt, and we blocked a field goal, all in one big game. I think we're the first ever NFL team to do that. I think we're also the first Eagles team to have all what eight eight receivers have three receivers to have what 8 touchdowns each. I think there was a score like that. I might be wrong. Any Eagles fans that are listening, please put that in the comment below. But yeah, that being said, the game was exciting. It was electric. The Eagles fans really did show up in force, man. They really did take over MetLife Stadium. It's basically our home, away from home, from Philadelphia. They played fantastic game. They really played a fantastic game. There was also a big issue. I don't know why Jim Schwartz. I also was hearing that Jim Schwartz for some reason had Ronald Darby inactive. I don't know why, because it kind of showed when we lost Patrick Robinson for a little bit for a concussion. I think the gentleman was in concussion protocol twice. He actually got hurt twice during that game. So yeah, the defense played very horrific. No, I wouldn't say horrific. They played a really bad game, letting too many yards go the way of the Giants. But I'm not too concerned about the defense. I think they're all correctable mistakes. It's nothing like be concerned. It's just bad form, a little bit of just being out of place and bite on little pump, little little fake outs and crap, but also being beat by the slot. I mean, they also got to sit down and get that time up too, because you got to understand. Right now, you're playing against a really bad Giants team, which I think was ranked the 29th offense in the league. But you got to remember too. I mean, if a guy like a guy by the name of like Random King can beat you. I don't think that's his name. I think his last name King. I mean, but if a dude like that if a JV player from the Giants squad can mess you up, imagine what a guy like Julio Jones and Matt Ryan will do to you. Imagine a guy with the pedigree of Drew Brees. Imagine a dude what with well, not Cam Newton. Cam Newton tends to be a little bit hot and cold. But imagine those top level league quarter QBs that will come into Lincoln Financial and just sit down and gas you up for points. It's something that Jim Schwartz really needs to go back to the drawing board and really hammer those wide receivers. But most importantly, that front seven needs to get better, man, because that's really why our cornerbacks have been able to play the way that they have. When you have the corners, when you have that front four with Fletcher Cox and Jimmy Jurgen and Graham doing what they do, it gives it, those plays cannot sit down and develop, and it really puts our cornerbacks in very good positions to make a pick or to sit down to make a play. Other than that, we got the win, we got our bye. Fortunately, now the next team that we'll face will be on Christmas Day against the Oakland Raiders, which basically came down to losing the game by a postcard, by a paper postcard, which was insane against the Cowboys. So hopefully hopefully they come back with a little bit more better confidence, a lot more better discipline and consistency as we go back home to Lincoln Financial to play against the Oakland Raiders on Christmas Day, and hopefully we can secure home field revenge through Arn out. Okay, that's it. I'm done. 10 minutes. I'm surprised this actually went out longer than it did. Again, I love to hear about your comments down below from all fans, Eagles, Giants, your opinion on the game, how you feel about it. Comment down below. Also, check out my Twitter page at Green Wingmen, at my Twitter feed. Till then, you guys stay fly and enjoy this Victory Monday.